I'm hitting *1 to start. Make sure everybody can hear me. All right.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar, A Journey from the Corporate World to Franchise Ownership, with our very special guest, Steve Cannata. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. You'll have the opportunity to submit text questions to us by typing your questions into the questions pane of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We'll collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. So, welcome, A Journey from the Corporate World to Multi-Unit Franchise Ownership with Relax the Back. I'd like to introduce myself, Karen Schumann, Franchise Development Manager for Relax the Back. Going on 4 years now, I've been fortunate to serve as our brand ambassador and bring our model to so many people. Next, I'd like to introduce our very special guest, Steve Cannata, our multi-unit owner with Relax the Back. Steve will share with us his journey from Fortune 100 executive to a very successful franchise owner. Steve currently owns 3 Relax the Backs in 2 states, in Arizona and in Washington State. Welcome, Steve.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to set an agenda, so you can feel free to follow through with us. The first thing we'll talk about is Steve's journey from the corporate world to franchise ownership. Some of the lessons that Steve's learned and key ingredients to franchise success. Then we'll talk about the growth opportunities in the health and wellness industry. We'll introduce you to our Relax the Back franchise model, and then talk about taking the first steps to franchise ownership. So let's get started, talk about the why and when. Steve, let's get you in here. Thank you for participating and sharing your journey. If you would start us out by providing a bit of your professional background prior to franchise ownership, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you, Karen. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 52 years old. I grew up the 6th of 7 children in a very, very modest family. I have 3 wonderful children of my own, 4 beautiful grandchildren, and a very, very lovely, supportive wife. Professionally, my first job out of college was with a consumer packaged goods company, and I worked 26 years with that company. I had a dozen or so different roles, relocated 4 times, and commuted for about 8 years from Denver to Chicago, leaving every Monday morning and coming home on Friday night if I was lucky. I held a variety of sales, operation, and customer marketing roles, and had a very successful and enjoyable career in corporate America. So that's pretty much my background before I came to Relax the Back.
Okay, so based on that, you were pretty satisfied, somewhat satisfied. What were some of your thoughts and triggers that you had thinking about leaving, jumping from corporate world? Some of the goals that you were reaching for?
Sure. It actually was kind of a unique story. My wife and I, every New Year's Eve, we tend to talk about what do we want to accomplish the next year. And on New Year's Eve of 2010, we took a different tact. We said, what do we want to accomplish over the next 10 years, because this is the start of a new decade. And when we did that, we started to look at the world a little bit differently, identifying what was most important to us, family, geography, where we lived, autonomy, things like that were really, really important to us. So that was kind of the catalyst for us to start exploring. At this point, I was still working for the CPG company, but started to spend my spare time better defining what it is I thought I wanted to do in my next career, and also having a better understanding, I think, overall of what opportunities were out there. So, you know, for us, it really boiled down to a few factors. We knew we wanted to live in the Southwest. We knew that and that was really driven by family factors. And we decided that, we really we knew there was always going to be a second career, but at this point in our lives, we decided why not start that earlier rather than later.
Okay, thanks. Can we talk also about some of the thought process behind the decision? I'm sure you had lots of questions, and it sounds like you and your wife were pretty firm on moving forward, but actually making the change, is it the right time? How do I know it's the right business?
Sure.
And the concern that a lot of people that are listening probably have is, talk about like leaving the security of a position and your salary to enter these unknown chartered waters. All those what ifs and how you overcame those fears and doubts?
Sure. For us personally, it started by identifying what was important to us and, what that next chapter in our lives looked like. We knew that there was a balance between work life and our personal life that we were looking for. It was a lot about trying to find the right fit. So we spent, call it 6 to 9 months, researching at least a dozen different opportunities before we really kind of settled in on Relax the Back. My mom always told me, God gives you a mind and a heart for 2 reasons. And our mind said, you know what, we can do this. So we had the confidence in that. And our heart told us that it was the right fit. After looking at more than a dozen opportunities, we felt like Relax the Back was the right fit. So, once you have peace in mind and peace of heart, it's a pretty easy decision.
Okay. So the confidence in yourself and your abilities going forward were huge. That was a huge part of it, right? Correct? Okay. So can we talk, and we're going to come back to Relax the Back and figuring out how and why that we are the right fit for you, but another transition that we just like to talk about and touch on is the actual transition from corporate executive to an actual franchise owner. It's a totally different hat. So can you address that a bit, Steve, the learning curve, if there was one, some of the challenges now that you're wearing many hats of many colors?
Sure. Yeah, there's absolutely a learning curve with any new venture, and this is no different. What was comforting in many ways is there's no one element of operating a Relax the Back franchise that's overly difficult. Really, the complexity is you're doing it all. So in a corporate world, I had HR resources, I had sales resources, I had marketing resources. I had a lot of people to help me. But when you're a franchisee, you have some corporate support, but at the end of the day, part of the reason you're making that decision is you want the autonomy to run your own business. So you are the VP of HR, you are the VP of operations, you are the VP of sales, and with having to do all that, to me, I thought that was one of the more challenging aspects. Doesn't take a long time. Also, certainly product knowledge and process knowledge, unless you've done, I had not been in a retail business before, so there's things associated with operationally running a retail business that were new to me. Certainly the product knowledge, I think, might have been the most challenging of all because that was 100% new. But that being said, there was tremendous resources and training to help us close that gap. So yes, it's a challenge. Yes, it's a little bit different, but the upside is you're working for yourself and you get to make those decisions and you get to enjoy the success and the fruits of your labor.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Okay, we're going to move on to, and we're going to circle back and touch some of these things that Steve said about product knowledge and training. So we'll get to those points. We'll revisit those. But as far as some of the early lessons, and there's people that are listening to us now that are beginning their search, any lessons that you can share from your research? What to look for? Maybe a red flag that came up somewhere along the line. or like you said, follow your gut. Any tips
Yeah.
that you can share with us?
Well, I think it's always critically important to understand what makes you happy. And, for me personally, that's helping people, that's working with people. I get great satisfaction out of that. If you can make somebody's life a little bit better, tremendous personal satisfaction. So within that context, also understanding where I wanted to live, what I wanted to do, that was kind of what began my search. I mentioned I looked at least a dozen other businesses, many of which I think we would have been very successful at as well. But I'm not sure we would have been as happy in those businesses. And one of the things that I found in doing my due diligence, about half of the businesses we looked at were franchised, about half were not. But specific to franchises, when we talked to the owners of various franchise networks, we found something pretty interesting. Like the owners from one network to the next network were really not that different. You found super positive, enthusiastic, excited owners. You found some owners that maybe weren't as highly motivated. You found really intellectually smart people that we talked to, and we found some other people that were just kind of hands-on, get in the trenches and get dirty. And what we found is whether it was franchise A or franchise B, I won't name names, it was pretty consistent across the board. So for us, what we had to do is kind of sift through that and understand that with a bit of a grain of salt, what is the underlying message there? And ultimately, when we looked at Relax the Back, it was the one that made us feel the best inside. I think the business proposition on Relax the Back was excellent. It's proved to be extremely fruitful for us. But as I mentioned, I think there are other franchises that might be that as well. But I can honestly say I don't think there's another one that would make me feel as good at night when I go home and put my head on the pillow.
So we appreciate that. Thank you, Steve. Okay. All right. So we'll move on. So just to take what you just said a step further based on all your research and looking at very different types of franchises and different models, I guess some of these reasons that we can address that for selecting Relax the Back and allows you to put your head on the pillow at night and be comfortable. So can we talk about some of those, your top reasons for selecting Relax the Back?
Yeah, so there's probably a handful of them. First, it's kind of rooted in health and wellness and caring of other people. As I mentioned, that's really important to us. We felt that within that model, we could still differentiate ourselves significantly by offering excellent customer service, taking good care of the clients, etc. It's not as much of a transactional business as many other business models are. It's really you get to know your clients, you understand what their health and wellness issues are, and you try to provide solutions to them in a consultative sales process. So, that felt really good to us. I am especially excited about the fact that it's high-ticket items. So Relax the Back, you're not going to be dealing with hundreds of people walking through your store in a day. It might be 10 people, it might be 20 people. But you have lots of time to spend with those individuals. And our average ticket sales are very high. I kind of joke with people, it takes a whole lot of burgers to equal a $5,000 chair sale. So there's plenty of other franchise opportunities out there, but not a lot where your average ticket is as high as it is at Relax the Back. A couple other factors that were important to us. One was that we knew we would be dealing with more of a professional employee. As opposed to many models, you're dealing with maybe less skilled labor, and that was particularly appealing. We also love the fact that we're dealing with nothing but top quality merchandise. So again, part of that feel good at night when you go to bed, you know you didn't sell somebody something that was second quality. Everything that we sell is top quality. And then I think the last two things that were important to me, one was it's really not a cash business. You don't have to worry about employee theft. You don't have to worry about things like that you do in many other businesses. And finally, we like the fact that it catered to aging demographics. So there's clearly a correlation between back pain and age. And with the aging of the baby boomers, we felt like there was a lot of upside potential there.
Okay, excellent. Well, let me just ask you, Steve, for minimal staff, and I'm sure this is a question that actually came in. How many staff typically in a store? You have 3 stores.
So my busiest store will have 4 people in it on the busiest day of the week. So on a Saturday, we would have 4 people in that store. My other stores probably are 2 people max. So you're not dealing with managing 10 or 20 employees at any given time. It's, it's a small, intimate, and we call them family members because they are part of our family.
Okay, great. And in today's world, staffing is with all the new laws or whatever, staffing is a huge issue for a lot of franchisees. So our model with minimal staffing, I think, is a great asset, as you well said. Okay, thank you so much. Jumping from, I know you started out with 2 stores to multiple unit ownership. Any points on making the transition? Some of the things that you need in place as you grow to multiple units? And how that multiple unit allows you to kind of be that CEO of your company and really grow your own relax the back empire, so to speak.
I think, I think any business, as you grow, you experience challenges. You want to be able to take what you have and replicate it multiple times, and as you grow, your ability to stay in each store or spend as much time in each store is very limited. So what you want to do is have, the right process and quality control, and particularly you want to have the right people working for you with the right training. So for us, that was probably the single biggest enabler of us to grow. Is we initially were challenged, as most people are, finding the right staff that we felt comfortable with and that they felt comfortable working with us. And then once we had the right staff, it was training them and elevating their skill sets so that they could take on more responsibility as we grew. So, I always kind of liken it to having kids. When you have that second kid initially, it's a whole lot of work, but in the long run, it's actually a little bit easier, right? Yeah, cooking for 2 kids isn't much harder than cooking for 1, but initially, when you have a 2-year-old running around the house and a newborn, the workload seems like it's 3 or 4 times as much. So we kind of experience the same thing. Initially, there's a lot of work at first, but over time, you have great economies of scale, and it actually gets much easier as you grow.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. And as we mentioned, Steve now has 3 stores and does very well in all 3, and they are in 2 different states. So he does a great job managing those locations. Okay. So we talked about some of the do's and don'ts. If you want to maybe emphasize a little bit about that as people go forward, maybe any advice to share with potential owners as they go through their journey.
Sure.
And then,
So, so at the risk of being a little bit redundant, I think it starts with finding out what makes you happy and then finding a good fit for that. I would encourage anybody to do their research before starting their own business or joining their own business. I also would say don't jump at the first opportunity that comes along. I mean, look at multiple ones, and I think if you do, as we did, we looked at a large number of opportunities, it really helped define as much what we didn't want as what we did want, so that when we did look at Relax the Back, we knew it was a very good fit for us. I think, financially, obviously, right, make sure you're well capitalized. I think it's important to be honest with yourself and what your skill sets are, because I think it assists you in finding people with complementary skill sets, and I think that's really important. So, those are just a few of the things that I would tell somebody that's out there embarking on this journey to take note of.
Take your time. Okay. So gathering all that together, and after all your research, you decided on Relax the Back. So, Steve, why should someone invest in a Relax the Back?
Well, I can tell you this. I mentioned it before. I had a great job. I had a wonderful life. We had wonderful vacations, and I've never regretted walking away from the corporate world for one day. I never feel like I made a bad decision with Relax the Back. It's in my heart. It feels like it's absolutely the right thing. I mentioned I feel good at night, because we're making people feel better. We're assisting people. That's a wonderful place to be. I saw this investment as an investment in not necessarily Relax the Back, but an investment in myself and my family. And I think, within that context, it felt great. I mentioned about, top quality merchandise. And there's a tremendous network. One thing that I felt very good about was that there are plenty of fellow franchisees out there that are always willing to pick up the phone, talk to you about an issue you may be faced with, or share, how they run their business, which I've learned a tremendous amount from. And I would never, ever understate how important that is. And lastly, at the end of the day, guess what? This is about making money, and it's been very, very lucrative for us. So that would be my rationale for why I tell people this is a great organization to be in.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make our own little transition here and talk about Relax the Back. Steve, feel free to jump in where you might if you have any comments that you want to add. But we're going to talk a little bit about Relax the Back in our model and so you can see some of the things that Steve was talking about, and we'll talk about those in more depth. So let's talk about Relax the Back. We are the largest specialty retailer of ergonomic and back care products. We provide product solutions for the prevention and relief of back pain, neck pain, spinal, postural issues. These are comfort products as well. And these products include things for sleep, for massage, for recline relaxation, for office, and for travel and fitness. Just a little bit of history about Relax the Back. It's a great story. Relax the Back was started in Austin, Texas in 1984 by a doctor. I believe he was an osteopath that was looking for products to help people, his patients that were experiencing back pain. So Relax the Back got started that way back in 1984. Came across an entrepreneur that took the brand, and then we started franchising in 1989. We are 91 units strong and growing. We have a great model, and we believe that now this is a great time. This is the right business for the right time. One of the things that Steve mentioned was the underserved market and the opportunity that Relax the Back affords new owners in health and wellness. Just some numbers to think about. $200 billion is the annual cost of chronic back pain in America. 80 billion people will suffer back pain at some point in their lives, whether it's chronic or acute. They will suffer back pain. It'll touch them. 186 million work days lost each year to back pain. These are huge numbers. $3.4 trillion, the amount spent on health and wellness today. That does include back issues. Back pain is the second most stated reason that people visit their doctors. Behind respiratory infections or whatever, back pain is the second most stated reason people visit doctors. This is huge. And most of the time these people can overcome through their PTs or whatever therapies, but comfort products, they're either sleeping in the wrong bed, they're sitting in the wrong chair or whatever, and here comes Relax the Back with products that can help people feel better, live better, work better. So definitely an underserved market, as you can see. So I have a question for anyone who's out there listening. Do you have back pain, or how many people that you know have any back pain issues? And better yet, take that a step further. How many of you know that there's a business like Relax the Back where people can go and find solutions for their back pain? And then more importantly is, how do you feel about having the ability to change someone's life? Something that Steve mentioned. That we use the tagline, can a chair really change your life? Well, absolutely, a chair can really change someone's life. So let's talk about us being a compelling business. Steve mentioned top products. We're always looking for best-in-class products. This is Relax the Back. That's our goal, is to provide the best in product solutions for people. Top products from Tempur-Pedic, from Human Scale, from Human Touch, if you're not familiar with these vendors and you want to take a look at them. Lifeform office chairs. Top quality vendors, top quality products. Steve mentioned high-ticket items. Much easier to deal in a scenario that with high-ticket items as opposed to selling $2 cups of coffee and the clientele that goes along with high-ticket items. Exclusive offerings, we have proprietary merchandise in our stores. Our merchandising retail department is always looking for those products that aren't available anywhere, products that are exclusive for Relax the Back, products that are branded Relax the Back. Okay. Steve mentioned minimal staffing. That's huge in today's legislative world, minimal staffing requirements. Outstanding training and support. Steve mentioned the curve, the product knowledge curve. If there's anything that we do best is supporting our franchisees. I'll mention that we are a true support center. Relax the Back has no corporate stores, so everything we do here is to support our franchisees and their success. And again, that work-life balance. We are one of the few franchises that can afford our owners a work-life balance. We don't keep crazy hours. Stores are open maybe till 6 or 7 in the evening. Some of our stores are still closed on Sunday. So it gives our owners the ability to create a work-life balance. And again, one of the reasons that Steve was looking at us and chose Relax the Back. Support is definitely our strong point. From pre-opening support to grand opening support throughout, the Relax the Back Support Center has your back. Anything from design, merchandising, operations, sales, growth, the mentorships that we offer in our system. We're here to help our franchisees be successful. It all starts with real estate assistance. Once somebody becomes a Relax the Back owner and signs their documents, the first thing we do is kick in real estate. We have a full-time real estate manager that works with our franchisees. We focus on population areas with a minimum of 150,000 within a 5-mile trade area. Within that population needs to be a certain income level. One of the things, again, that we mentioned are high-ticket items. So we need to be in those centers with like-minded tenants, such as an REI or a Whole Foods Market or some of the affluent higher scale retail. So we do find a qualified real estate broker in the area. We do all the market analysis. Kurt actually gets on the plane and flies to the location and tours with our franchisee. Once they settle on a site, we are much involved with the letter of intent. Hopefully that leads to a lease. And Kurt is very much, again, involved in lease assistance document reviews. We do look for 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, again, in that lifestyle center. This is a picture, I believe, of our Palm Beach store, Palm Beach, Florida. Going back to support, mentor support, Vendor product training. Steve, feel free to jump in if any comments you have about that. We do vendor training in stores. We have a a retail training manager that visits on a numbers of times a year for vendor training. Vendors will come into the store. Some of our vendors actually have training in their locations and invite our franchisees in for their training.
I would just add a little bit on the vendors. I didn't really mention that, but that's one of the wonderful things. There's a very tight-knit group of vendors that support Relax the Back, and you establish personal relationships with them, and they're extremely supportive and helpful. So just for example, our stores, we have a representative from one of our major vendors that's in our stores probably once a month, assisting us with training.
Excellent. Okay. And a lot of these vendors, Relax the Back is their biggest client, so they're there to cater to our stores as well. Okay. Sleep and office certification programs. Ernest is our retail training manager. We have our own in-house Relax the Back sleep and office certification programs. It's a great tool to keep your back care consultants, as we call them, educated as to what the product differentials. You know, Tempur-Pedic might have 20 beds, so we need to know what makes this one A and what makes this one B. Office certification as well. We do train so our franchisees can go out and do office assessments, ergonomic needs. That's huge in the workplace today. Steve, you might want to mention the medical partnership program, if you might. This is a program where we train our franchisees, again, our franchise owners, to call on the medical community, whether they're orthopods or especially physical therapists, to acquaint them with Relax the Back, so they in turn can refer their patients back to us because we have products to support their therapies.
Yeah, I would say probably 20% of the clients walking in the front door are a referral from someone in the medical community. And so we have someone that does some outreach work for us and contacts physical therapists, but it pays off in spades because they send us people on a consistent basis.
Right, so like, just for an example, if somebody gets a referral from their PT or they just had back surgery and their orthopod tells them they need to go get a new mattress, go to Relax the Back. So we're talking about those kinds of therapies because our owners will do in-services at medical offices or PT's offices, or even have events in their stores to invite PTs or medical communities or HR people, safety engineers, occupational therapists, you name it, into their stores, again, to present Relax the Back. Because we know the products. They don't know the products, a lot of the products that are out there that can help them. Telephone consultations through our staff, training, scheduled visits to your store, our annual convention. Our annual convention is the first week in May every year. It's so important that by signing your franchise agreement, you obligate yourself to come to the convention. It's best practices. It's a trade show with lots of our vendors that bring new merchandise in, and it's a huge gathering of people. Okay, and again, we are a support center totally dedicated to running your successful business is marketing your business. Steve had a marketing background, right? But a lot of people don't. So we know how to fuel the marketing engine. We do it two ways. We do it many ways, but one of the biggest ways we do is through print. We have a full-line catalog that's printed and mailed 4 times a year. It's one thing that we do know is know how to drive customers into the stores. One of the best ways we do that is through our catalog. We do all the catalog pictures, mailing. We put together the catalog. It's sent out 4 times a year to those customers that are profiled to look like Relax the Back, existing customers and new customers. We have a Tempur catalog that's sent twice a year, strictly dedicated to Tempur-Pedic. Tempur-Pedic is a huge part of the store success. Office catalog sent once a year. We do direct mail campaigns as well, newsletters. As you can see, we missed you cards, reacquainting cards that are mailed out. Health and wellness provider referral programs, we have all the collateral material for that. And then same thing with the business partnership outreach. So any print that any franchise owner would need, all they do is pick up the phone, call us. Well, if we don't have it produced, we will produce it for them. So that's a big monkey off of their back. We take care of that. Another way to support our franchisees is through the digital marketing. We have our relaxtheback.com site. Link to the .com site is each store's individual microsite for their local business. It has a picture of their storefront, their store hours. It has a Google map attached so they can look at it. They can also write if they're having an event in their store, or if not, they can just write a blurb about their store. We will write a blurb about their store, just telling them some of the things that we have in the store. So it's all centered on that store. Social media outreach Facebook pages we tweet, we do Instagram. So all the social media we're involved in as from the .com site, and then our individual franchisees can also do their own. We take care of all the local listings as far as online directories. We take care of all that. We do monthly email blasts, again, through our newsletters. We put out a monthly newsletter just on education, and some are product specific, some are educational. The paid search campaigns, they're active. We do them from relaxtheback.com. So typically if somebody would Google back pain products, the .com site would come up, and then underneath that the local site would come up. So as far as print and digital marketing, we've got everyone covered. All they need to do is pick up the phone, and if they need advice, ask. We are here to help. So to sum it all up is our franchise network support system that Steve mentioned, and again, if you want to elaborate on any of this, Steve, the franchise network, you're assigned a mentor. So as soon as you enter the system, you will have a mentor, an experienced franchisee that you can pick up the phone, becomes your buddy and guiding partner. Again, it's more of a family. We have 91 stores. 43% of our owners are multiple unit owners. So it's a close, tight-knit, really kind of a family that works together. And combined with the retail sales training, vendor product training, the medical marketing training, weekly calls with senior staff, we are here to support our franchisees. This is Jonathan. It just happens to be Jonathan here in the center. Jonathan started with 1 store in Dallas. He now has 4 and looking for a 5th. So kudos to Jonathan. So what we look for in a candidate, look at Steve Cannata. Approach the business as a CEO, play an active role, build multiple units. Again, 43% of our owners are multiple units. An owner-operator is preferred. Again, such as Steve. He's a multiple store owner. He's active in his business, so he knows his business. Sales and marketing background is a plus, not a requirement. No retail experience is necessary either. Again, Steve touched on that. He didn't have retail experience, but we'll train you, we'll teach you, we'll guide you, we'll mentor you. One of the biggest things that we do look for is the ability to work with people, to manage people, consultative selling skills, ability to listen to a client that kind of works together. It's very much a consultative selling opportunity with your clients. People come to you and look to you as a back care expert and looking for the right product solution for their issues coming in. So being able to listen and communicate with them, and again, the ability to manage and train your staff. Community-minded, go out and work in your community. Again, there is an outside selling piece that we mentioned. The medical marketing is an outside selling piece. So we need either the franchise owner or somebody in your store to go out and call on those medical communities. Again, be active in your community. As you can see by those figures that we posted earlier, there is a huge need for us. We just need to let more people know that we're here for them. As far as investment and financing, $49,500 franchise fee. We do reimburse $20,000 of that to our new store owners as soon as that store opens. So it's a net $29,500. There is a $10,000 veterans discount incentive off your franchise fee. So that would lower the franchise fee to $39,500. They still get the $20K reimbursement. So any veteran it's a great opportunity. All our candidates do require $100,000 in liquidity with a $500,000 net worth. The total investment runs $229,000 to $371,000. The average is about $320,000, depending on the size of the space and the location. It does include inventory. As you can see, inventory is a huge piece of that, $70,000 to $100,000. But we do have some working capital built into that, lease payments, your total cost for build-up. In 2014, according to our 2015 FDD, our average store gross sales was $988,000, 605. That has gone up in 2015, and it'll be in our new FDD coming out in March. We do have a graduate royalty rate for our new franchisees for the first 2 years, 2 to 5% based on their sales. There's a flat 5% year 3 onward. There is a 2% contribution to our marketing fund. That's for catalogs and just the marketing fees. We do have various financing options available. We work with third parties for financing. We can provide you with connections there. So let's get started. Do we have some questions out there? Okay, we have some questions coming in. One of them is, who is your competition? There really isn't competition. Relax the Back is the only franchise that does what we do. What you'll find throughout the country are some mom and pops some mom and pop back stores that have products not on the scale as Relax the Back does. So there really is no one competitor that we have.
And I would echo that. I really don't feel like we have competitors. Yes, there are other places where somebody could buy a mattress, they could buy a mattress from us, but at the end of the day, there really is no competition. And if you run your business right, in my opinion, you know, it's an insulating advantage that there is no competition. Because we're very unique and we're very specialized.
Okay. How do we find the right location? Again, that's a real estate thing. Everybody's concerned about location. Again, we have Kurt, a full-time real estate manager, who does all the market research, all the demographics, population. We take very seriously the responsibility to help our franchisees find the right spot that gives them the opportunity to be successful. So yes, we take that very seriously. And again, the markets are defined 150,000 people within a 5-mile trade zone. And again, within that population, an income level that will probably about $75,000 and above, an average in that area, to be able to come in and be Relax the Back customers. Okay, that kind of sums it up. Steve, thank you so much for attending or participating in today's webinar.
Feel free to offer my email address as contact information. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I'd be more than happy to try to find time for you. My email address is pretty simple. It's Steve C, as in Charlie, at relaxtheback.com.
Thank you, Steve, for that very much. My information is on the screen. Feel free to contact me at any time. You'll also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to view the recording of today's webinar or to listen to the recording of today's webinar. On behalf of Relax the Back, myself and Steve Cannata, we thank you for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day. We appreciate it. Thank you.